Allow us at Eddie B Productions to capture, create, and celebrate all of your greatest moments. Let us turn your joy into memories that will last forever. As we remember our beloved Eddie Blick Jr., the very reason we do it all, we aim to put a smile on your face and also your heart. Whether a birthday party, wedding planning, organizing an event, or photography, we can service all your needs. You can follow us on Instagram at Eddie B Productions, email us at eddie_productions93 at outlook.com, or call us at 410-303-0101 for all your event planning, decoration, fun, and photography needs. We look forward to working with you.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. We are back with Use Your Voice with Michelle Mapenzi, and I'm excited. We have guests today in the studio with us, and that is Miss Mia Peavy. We'll get into that in just a minute, but it is Saturday, 12:30, and so we're going to jump right into this and get started. As always, I am going to start the show with an excerpt from Iyanla Vanzant's book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. Of course, I'm going to show it. Of course, you got to pick up a copy of this phenomenal book. Before I do that, I just want to announce a few things. One, the Ladies League of Baltimore has our 1-year anniversary coming up on August the 13th. It's a Saturday. It starts at 7 o'clock, and from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. we're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. So if you haven't purchased your tickets yet, you can do that on Eventbrite. Just type in Ladies League of Baltimore and our 1-year anniversary will come up. You can purchase tickets, or you can purchase your tickets at our Cash App, which is $LLO Baltimore. Again, $LLO Baltimore, BALTIMORE. You can purchase tickets there. Please make sure if you're purchasing through Cash App that you put your name in the for section so that we know that is you. So make sure that you do that, and you can purchase tickets via Cash App. The tickets are $80. That includes food and everything. So you can go on to Eventbrite or Cash App, whatever you so choose. So really excited about the 1-year anniversary. I know y'all can tell. I spent the last 2 weekends talking about it, having ladies on to talk about it. And so we are just elated. We do have 15 tickets left. Please feel free you do not have to be a member, and men are welcome to attend as well. So you can bring a guest, you can bring, male or female, whichever one you prefer, to the anniversary. Mia dropped off. Hopefully she'll come back in a few minutes. I hope. I don't know what happened. All right. So Mia should return in a few minutes. Our Cash App is LLOB. It's actually LLO Baltimore. Trivia, can you change it in the group in the slide that comes up? It's $LLO Baltimore. Okay. All right. All right. So hopefully Mia will return in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and start the show with day 33 of the book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And on day 33, she talks about how to honor our process in life with faith, right? And so today, with Mia's story and talking about her book today, I figured that we would talk about faith and what it takes to overcome some of the challenges that we have in life. And it does take faith, right? It does take a a lot of faith and a lot of everything that we need. The Eventbrite info, you just type in Ladies League of Baltimore and Eventbrite, and it should come up. All right, Mia, I'm glad you came back.
I'm sorry. We're
That's
having
okay. No worries. No
technical
worries at all.
difficulties, as you know, dealing with any type of media or whatever.
It's
So,
okay. It's all right. You came back, which is all we can ask. I definitely appreciate that.
hello. Thank you for having me this
All
afternoon.
right. So we just before we get into having you to share your story or getting into the book, I'm gonna read day 33 of the book. One day my soul just opened up, okay?
Yes.
All right. And on this day, 33, she talks about faith, right? And how we can honor the process that we go through in life by having faith, right? And so she starts out by saying, faith, faith is not something we must acquire or develop. Faith is something we have by virtue of being alive. She said, I once thought that I had to work to make my faith stronger, by doing things like we fellowship with other like minded people, we practice certain things. And she says that will only take us so far. We have to have an internal belief system. And we have to believe that something or someone, we can't believe that something or someone can cause something to happen or keep it from happening. Most of our attempts to be or become more faithful gave way to doubt. Why? Because people, places, and things change. I added that. Okay, people, places, and things change, and so we all have faith. It's innate in it's in us already. And no one person has more faith than the other. What some of us have been able to do is to master the ability to place our faith in appropriate things, those things that we want to see manifest in our lives or in God. That's where our faith belongs. And when we have faith, there's no need to worry, right? She said most of us know the faith quotes verbatim, right? Most of us know those faith quotes verbatim. My favorite one is, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, right? Keep the faith is another one. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. If you have faith, you can say to the mountain, I don't know about you, but I have not talked to any mountains lately. I have been too busy worrying about what is going to happen, when it is going to happen, and what will happen to me if this or that happens. Most of us say we have faith, but do we really have faith? You
Mm-hmm.
are faith in the flesh. God has so much faith in you that you were entrusted with the gift of life and a unique mission to fulfill. And that's our purpose. So she says that you are faith in the flesh. We are faith in the flesh. And God has so much faith in us that we were entrusted with this gift of life and a unique mission to fulfill, which is our purpose. Did you ever stop to think that you could have been a fruit tree? You could have been berries or flowers sticking out of your ears. Instead, you were given the right to make conscious choices, the
Mm-hmm.
ability to create through thought and deed, and dominion over every other creature. That is the demonstration of faith the divine has in our abilities and capabilities. Your task is to return faith with faith. You must live with the knowledge that everything you need at any time you need it is being provided. Not will be provided, is being provided. This is how we can each become an example of living faith, by knowing that your good is on the way. In every undertaking, you must live with faith in the power of your thoughts, the efficacy of your words, and the purposefulness of your actions. When you are challenged by seemingly insurmountable obstacles, you must live with faith that the truth of your affirmations, your positive words, will manifest as tangible conditions. When you set a goal, you must proceed with living faith, that there is a divine plan unfolding in your life and as your life. And that if your plan is supported by knowledge and belief in the divine, this is how you must direct all your thoughts and actions in order to become living faith. Living faith. I like that. And when I read that, Mia, it really reminds me of your book. Your book is the testimony of the faith you had to have in your own life, right? As
Mm.
you say, I'm not blind, I have vision. So, with
Right.
that being said, let me just go ahead and let you introduce yourself to the audience and everybody who might be tuned in. So, how are you today? It's Saturday.
I'm well.
How
I'm
are
well.
you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, everybody. Yes, my name is Mia Peavy, and I am a new writer and author. I wouldn't say a new writer, but a new author. I've been
A
writing all
new
my life,
author.
but I am a new author.
Yes. Okay. Can you sit up just a little bit, Mia, so we can hear you a little better? All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So
Mm-hmm.
you were saying that you're not a new writer, but you are a new author, right? New
Yes.
to this author world. Isn't it a great thing, though?
It is. It feels great.
It is a great thing. It is a great thing. All right. And so, as I preface the conversation with faith,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to give the audience a little background, a little history on us. We've been friends now since I think 2014. It's been a while.
Something like that. Yes.
It's been a while. Your kids were babies, little children, and now they're teenagers. So are
Yes.
mine. So it's been a while. Let's just say that for the record, right? And it's been a journey. And when we met, you were already blind at that time, right? You had already lost your sight. And
Right.
so let's start from before we met, right? Because even when I read the book, you definitely start from before we met, actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had the pleasure, I like to say, and the honor to write the forward in your book. And
Yes.
so that was such an honor for me.
Yes.
Um,
Thank
but
you
I,
so much.
huh?
I said thank you so much.
I know, right? Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. It was a great opportunity. So in the book, I start in the forward by saying we met in 2014, and I met you at a time in your life where you were learning life as a visually impaired woman, mother, friend, and it was all fresh. Would you say that's the time period where we met? It was all fresh.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
It was all fresh.
I was still adapting and getting
Still
adjusted.
adapted. And what I said was Mia didn't let her circumstances define her. She was a fighter, strong willed, and determined at the least, or to say the least. It was a time where you had accepted that your life had changed. And I imagine that as blame, shame, and guilt began to seep into your thoughts and the
Mm.
people around you seemed to fade away, you were left at a crossroads. And it always pondered to me, if you ask yourself, will I change? Will I adapt to my new life? Or will I remain the same? So, as you introduce yourself, answer that question as well, right?
Hmm. So, well, I've already, introduced myself, as you guys know. Um, but just to answer that question, I didn't, I didn't really, I had to change. I couldn't stay the same. I couldn't stay in the same mindset because it just I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. It wouldn't have worked for me. I no longer could see, so I couldn't continue to live my life as a person with eyesight. So it took a mental change. I had to change a lot mentally, and through that, emotions came, of course. Yeah, blame, shame, and guilt.
So, you had to change. It was like inevitable, I guess, right?
Right. If I had to, yeah, because this is the new me, my new normal. I mean, it would be it would be what's the word I'm looking for? it would be kind of like discredit me. It wouldn't get me anywhere to try to continue to live a life as a person who could see. So I had to embrace what it was, which was
Yes,
I'm
embrace the
blind.
change.
Yeah, I'm blind. So,
Ooh,
and as you and my children, y'all kind of hate when I say that, but I am blind. So I had to think that way and live that way.
yeah. But I'm sure we're gonna go back in a minute. But I'm sure that was a difficult task to accept it,
Of
right?
course, of
And
course.
let's just bring the audience up to speed. Prior to you losing your sight, how was your life? Don't give too much because we want them to read the book. But what were you doing prior to losing your sight? How was your life?
Um, I would say I was doing it.
You was
I
doing the
was doing.
dang thing.
I was doing. I felt like I was. I don't want to say at the pinnacle, but I was definitely rising to the top. I was a cosmetologist. I was doing hair. That was my passion. So yeah, that's what I was doing, making everybody look beautiful.
Yes, yes. So you were doing hair. I mean,
Mhm.
the best short haircuts, girl. I'm serious. I saw them, girl. The
I
color and everything that was serious, right? We was wearing the
always,
hard curls back then, right?
yeah, 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 and the spikes and
And the
everything.
spikes. Yes,
I
yes.
always talk about doing hair, but I also was doing other things. I had actually just received my license for GNA CNA. Never was able to use it because of me losing my eyesight, but I did obtain it, and I was on the board of nursing registry and all that. But yeah, I was doing a lot.
Yeah, doing a lot. You drove, right?
Yes.
You
Mhm.
drove, so you was able to get where you wanted to go when you wanted to get there, right?
Yes. And
And you were a mother. How many kids did you have at the time?
I had three. I said it was the same. I had three.
Okay, so you had two girls and one boy, right?
Yes.
Two girls and one boy. And so you're a mother, you're a cosmetologist, you have all these other skills and background in your background. And here you are, and you find out, okay, I'm losing my sight. What were you thinking?
At first, I was in denial. I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. At least for like, I don't know, maybe like a week or so, maybe more. It's going on 11 years now. So, but I know at least for a week, I would go to sleep and wake up like
There's a
it's
story you tell in the book, and they got to get the book in order to hear the story. But there's several funny stories of how you had to accept,
oh yeah,
or
definitely.
how life helped you to accept that you were now um, visually impaired or blind. Right? There was a lot going on. Did you find those moments hilarious, or is it just me?
Looking
I
back
mean,
at
could
them,
you find the humor in it? Is what I'm saying. Hmm.
now, yeah, that I can laugh at it. Some of them no, not at the time. Um, some of them no, it wasn't funny to me because I was going through it.
Yes.
I was dealing with it. It was my everyday, life, and again, still adapting and adjusting to that new life.
Yes, and it was scary, I can imagine. At that in that moment.
Definitely, definitely.
Can you give us a story that's not in the book of something that helped you, something that happened that reminded you, okay, that's right, I am. And let me just say I cannot relate to being blind, of course, but I
Mhm.
can relate to something new happening that
Mhm.
you're not ready for. And for me, that was motherhood. So I
Okay.
remember when I first had my son, and he had just come home, and everybody was like, "Oh, I'm about to go out, about to do this, da, da, da." And then the
Mhm.
other time, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going. Let's go, right?" And then
Mhm.
I realized, "Oh, Michelle, you're not going nowhere. You got this
Right.
baby. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it was them calling me to go out that helped me to realize, oh, I'm a mother now. Like, no, I can't do that. So although I can't relate to what you experience, I do know how it is when life just throws that reality at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you give us a story where life threw that reality to you and you had to adjust?
Mm. You said that's not in the book?
That's not in the book.
Mm.
If it is, you could tell us a little bit of something that
No,
is in the book.
I mean it's so many. I'm trying to think of one that's not so maybe sad. You know what I mean?
It can be
But
sad. It can be sad. We do sad on the show. We do sad. We're not always happy laughing. I know people think I'm like, sunshine all the time, but we'll bring some sunshine back if it is sad.
um, I would say my the the death of my uncle. Uh, Before he was had actually passed away. Um, we were visiting him. He was on hospice, and we were visiting him. And this is kind of like a bittersweet moment. But when people are on hospice, they make them feel comfortable at home, so they give them the medicine, things like that, right? So he was kind of like going in and out. So he was talking, and he would like kind of like nod out, and they had told us like it could be any day. So he was going out, and I'm like, not on my watch. You're not going out. So I'm like, Uncle Tired, Uncle Tired, and I mean, I'm kind of like I'm crying. We're all crying, we're crying, but I'm calling him like Uncle Tired, Uncle Tired, and he comes from out that nod like, what, Mia? I said, okay. Okay, there you go. Listen, as long as you ain't going out on my watch, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And,
right.
and that was one of the things because it was different that day. I could see him, but I couldn't see him. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I was calling him and trying to get him to be boisterous with me. You get what I'm saying? So that was one of those times.
It was definitely a reality check, right? What
Mm-hmm.
are we doing? What is going on, right?
Exactly.
And so, all right, let's get back into the book, okay? With some good things in here.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the times where um reality had showed up for you and you had no other choice but to accept that that was the reality at that moment. Also, um one of the things for me when I was thinking about you writing this book, and I know it was a long time coming, but once it came, you came and did it big, right? How was your launch party? Can you share that with everybody? How was that? How did you choose to celebrate the launch of the book?
Um, I, well, I was just going to do something simple. I really wasn't going to do anything until you asked me, well, what you doing? What's going on? You want to do something? I said, I guess we just going to launch the book. We're going to push the button and, and we're going to launch it. And you said, well, Mia, you're not doing anything. I said, so I thought about it. I said, well, maybe I should do something.
Right.
Maybe I should do something. So I just, had a few friends over and things like that. And I had the marching band come through and they, I had a banner made with the front of the book, and they came through and they did it big for me.
Yes, and it was a marching band, and I mean it was loud, and and I mean it came to, it came at a time where I felt like it was the right time. It was the right time of day. It was on a Saturday. It
Hmm.
was a great way to introduce it to the world, right? It was a
Yeah,
spectacle, if you will. Like it was noise. It was
yeah,
no
let's make
way
some
the world
noise.
didn't
Right,
know,
right.
huh?
I said, yeah, let's make some noise. That's what we
Let's
did.
make some noise, right? It was no way the world was going to not know that you had launched the book. It was your way of saying, I am here. I might not be able to see you, but you're going to hear me today, okay? You are going to hear me. Um, and so I thought it was a great way to launch the book. It was creative. Most people don't do that. It was out of the box. It was for you, it was you for sure. But for
Yeah,
some, it was over the top. I know.
for real.
However,
I, I honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and it made me think about what Madison said, and she was like, "Dang, why are you doing it big?" And I'm like, "This is big. Like what? I'm really like you said. It's just me. I don't know. I just like, you know,
over the top things, right? I mean, you gonna do it over the top.
is
Most
it
people
because
gonna rent out a space and have people come and sign a book. You, on the other hand, are gonna have a whole marching band introduce it to the whole world, the neighborhood, everybody gonna hear it, which I think is a fantastic thing, a fabulous thing. It was so creative and out of the box. And for you, I know that's just life, but for many of us, it was like, "What you doing, Mia?" But it was a great time for you. All right, so back to the books. I want people to pick this book up. You guys, if you want to get a copy of the book, you can purchase it on Amazon. All you have to do is put in Mia's name, Mia Peavy, P-E-V-I-E, or you can put in the title of the book, I'm Not Blind, I Have Vision. And with that being said, Mia, how did you come up with that title of the book? Like, where'd that come from? In the depth of your soul, I know, but tell us why. I'm not blind, I have vision. I totally get it, but for those who are wondering, what does this mean?
um, real. See, it's two part. Really, it's spiritual, metaphorical, um, because I see things that other people don't see. I
Right.
have insight and understanding and wisdom that other people don't have. So that's really what that means. It's not saying that I'm not blind in the physical because I am. But I know a lot of people think that I'm not because of how I maneuver and move around and carry myself and things like that. But it's also a affirmation of faith, like you said in the beginning, because I do feel that one day I'll see again. So I'm speaking that and I'm putting that in the atmosphere. I'm not blind. I do have vision. So, it's kind of however you want to take it. It's kind
It's
of how
however
you
you
want
want
to
to
take
take it, but it is a play on words. It's a play on the fact that I'm not blind, I see what I want to see, right? And many of us
it.
see what we want to see, right? And
as,
it's
as
so
my
many
mo-
ways. Mhm. Say it
right,
again.
as my mother calls it, selective vision.
Selective vision. Selective vision.
Selective, yeah.
Selective vision, right? Like hearing, selective hearing, and selective vision.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
when I think about what Ayanla said in regard to faith, she says we should meet faith with faith, right? And
Hmm.
so when you say I'm not blind, I have vision, to me, that's faith. That's faith.
Right.
That's like no matter what my circumstances are today, I have
Hmm.
vision. I see more than what you think I see.
Right.
Right. And what's some of those things that people might not think you see physically, but you see? Can you think of something?
Hmm. Uh,
Say the first thing that comes to your mind. I notice you kind of thinking.
I,
Just say the first thing.
I see, I mean, my children. I see when they try to tell me they not doing something, they are like you are doing that. I see people when they try to um make it seem like they're not doing something, but they're not. You get what I'm saying? People
Yeah.
trying to cover things up like they're not doing something, but I see right through you.
Right. Right. You can feel the energy. You can see that it
Mhm.
may not be authentic, or if it is authentic, you can see that.
Right.
Just as if you had sight, just
Exactly.
as well as you did when you had sight.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's something. I think you
It
see
is.
and hear things that we don't because we're not paying attention.
And yeah, I think I probably see a little bit. I see better than I saw before when I had sight.
Wow. Wow. And that's something,
Mhm.
how you can see things better than you did before because you're not distracted by the physical eye, right?
Exactly.
You got to pay
Exactly.
attention pay attention to all the other things that we might not.
Exactly.
And that's a blessing, Mia.
It
That's a
is.
blessing.
It is.
That's a blessing. That is a true blessing. Have you found it to be a blessing in your own life as you navigated?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
How
I feel
how important has it been to you?
it's been very important. Like you said, those distractions. Um, and it's about your perception, you know, too.
Yep.
So, the one of the questions is so funny. I'm letting y'all really into my mind. And one of the questions I ask myself, like, I wonder if or when, let's say when, I'm not gonna say if, when that time comes and I'm able to see again, will I still have this same insight? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I don't think it's something you can lose once you have it. But
Right.
do you understand what I'm saying? Will I
Yeah.
be as intuitive? You know, but
Or will
it,
it
it's
be as
definitely
strong? Will it be as strong?
right. But it's definitely a blessing. I say it all the time, and I think sometimes, well, when I first started saying it, I felt crazy saying it. But then that's another thing you have had to adapt to and adjust to, because that's what I really feel. It's a blessing. Um, it's only something wrong or bad, or you feel like it's a curse if that's what you feel, how you use it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Everywhere my blindness has taken me has been a blessing. I would have never met you. I would have never met a lot of people that I know. I never would have been to the places that I've been. So, God has his reasoning for everything.
Yes, God has a way and a reason for everything that is done. I know some people are going to watch this and wonder, how did you lose your sight? I know you talk about it in the book, and they'll have to go into the book to learn more about the actual disease itself. But how did you lose your sight?
Um, well, I have a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, and that is what caused me to lose my sight. There was a spinal fluid that built up on my spine and on my brain, and it exposed my optic nerve. So that is how I lost my eyesight.
Yeah, that's how you lost it. And they have to pick up the book. The book is I Am Not Blind, I Have Vision. You have to pick up the book to learn how pseudotumor cerebri affected Mia's eyesight and how she lost it. You got to pick up the book to learn more about that. But it is a story, right? It is
It's,
like your
it's,
mouth will be wide open the whole time as you read the book, like, oh my goodness. It was definitely unexpected. Is that a good way to frame it, Mia? How would you
yeah, definitely,
define what that
yeah,
was?
definitely unexpected. I never knew about the condition until I actually lost my eyesight. So imagine that, not having any type of warning or anything like that. And I previously wore glasses. So
Uh-huh.
going to the optometrist and ophthalmologist and all that stuff, and no one ever said that this could be a possibility. So definitely shocked to say the least. But it's a real thing. Um, I know other people who have the condition. Um, a couple of us are blind. Some of us are not. Um, but it's real. It's real, and I wrote the book for so many different reasons. But definitely one of those things was to educate people um, on the condition.
Yes. And I too myself have close family members who had pseudotumor cerebrae, and I didn't know anything about it
Hmm.
until my relative, and then I wound up meeting you, and then I wound up meeting, somebody else, and then it's like it just started being all around me at some point in time. And
Hmm.
so I didn't know anything about pseudotumor cerebrae, and then I wound up knowing I knew quite a few people, a good girlfriend of mine, two family
Right.
members of mine,
Right.
one of my cousins and their mom, and it just was all over. Then I met you, and then you introduced me to others that had, the
Hmm.
condition as well. And it's all around us, but we're not talking about it. We're not
Right.
talking about it. So that's one of the things I hope that people will learn and share from your book. I am not blind. I have vision. You talk about pseudotumor cerebrae and it's a condition, and I hope that people will educate themselves and learn a little bit more from the book. Um, if you, I know you knew you were coming on the show, and I know that you wrote this book and you actually asked to come on the show. And so, if you needed to share something with the audience, what would it be in regard to your book? And what do you want them to get from reading the book?
Well, I just want people to just know a little bit about me, and just really to, people sometimes act like they're scared, or I get maybe they're just not educated on it. I don't know, but they seem like they're afraid of blind people. You get what I'm saying? Or
Mm,
even disabled people. And I just want people really to realize that disabled people are just regular people. you
right.
know, um, it's not that we're disabled or that we have a disability. What we have is a distinguished ability. So, just for them to not look at people like or look down on them, you know,
Yep.
or to make a prejudgment of them, because they're just regular people. I mean, God forbid, any one of us could be, uh, driving or walking or doing whatever your daily everyday things, and something could happen to you, and God spared your life, but you're now what? Disabled. You get what
Yep.
I'm saying? So
Yes.
it was just really to educate people, and to get my voice back, to knowing that I have a voice, but to really use that voice for something. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's about so many different things. My book is about so many different things. It's about forgiveness,
Yes.
because a lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there are some people that I shouted out in my book who probably thought that they would never be shouted out in my book. But it's about, again, forgiveness. You get what I'm saying? So uh, it's just about so many things: surrender, being authentic, all of that.
Yes, it's about forgiveness and authenticity. It's about acceptance and
Hmm.
faith, about resiliency. It's
Yeah.
about so many things. It's
Oh, so
funny
much.
too.
It's,
It got
yeah,
some
it
funny
really
humor. You say things in here, I'm like, Mia,
is.
it is hilarious, right?
But it's real though.
What were you gonna add? Mm-hmm.
But it's real. It's
Yes.
funny, and I do share some funny things in there, but it's very real. It's very real. Nothing I say in there is made up, or it's all me.
Or fabricated in any way. It is
Right.
all you.
Yes.
Absolutely. I like it when in the book there was a part where you say it was crazy trying to do even the basic things like eating, for example. You say, I
Mhm.
remember getting frustrated because I was trying to eat some corn with a fork. Every time I would get the fork to my mouth, there would there would be maybe one kernel of corn left on the fork. And I like it when you say, so now I use a spoon for everything.
Right, for everything. Yes, that's right.
Get
Nothing,
the forks
nothing,
for me.
nothing is getting past me. Tell it.
Yes, I've eaten it all, right? And I know funny story is that one day I was at your house and I think you were frying chicken or something. And I was like, how is that possible, Mia? How
Girl,
are you frying chicken? Like,
you
what
will.
in the world?
I have fried some chicken recently too for another friend, and I mean they was chomping on that chicken, right? But you will not let me live that chicken story down. You won't.
I won't because it was so amazing to me.
It's 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 so funny because I have a cousin, and they came over one morning, and I was fixing breakfast, and I could hear him in the dining room talking to my other cousins like, "Y'all, I'm telling y'all, me not blind. I know she can see something. She not blind." And I and I and and I was like, "Shut up! I am blind." He was like, "You not." So, but it's that type of thing, you know. It's just really, just really paying attention and feeling and stuff like that. I mean, and then I realized sometimes sighted people do the same things that blind people do, because I would just like you using it as a positive, you know what I mean, like frying the chicken and stuff like that. There are things too that I would get frustrated and I would be like, oh, this wouldn't happen if I could see, or if this wouldn't happen if I wasn't blind. And the truth of the matter is, sighted people do some of the same things that blind people do too because they don't pay attention.
Like what?
Like walking into walls.
We sure do. And if you like me, you walk into it and say, excuse me, to the wall. Like, oh, my bad. In my dining room, I have these French doors. So sometimes if the light is not on, I walk right into the French door, right? And I'm like, oh, excuse me. Now, why am I saying excuse me to the door? Just tell me why.
Oh
We do some
Lord.
crazy things. It was something that happened to you recently where you were at the gym, I think you said, and
Oh yes.
you were getting picked up from the transportation. And can you tell that story real quick? This is just
Yeah.
things that Mia
Yeah.
experiences on a daily basis. That is
Yeah.
the
So
most comical thing. I'm not blind, I have vision. And this is definitely one of those moments where the title of the book is in real life. Can you tell us that story?
yeah. So this just happened recently the other day. I was again waiting on transportation, sitting on the bench. The lady comes up. She says my name. I said, yes, that's me. She walks over to me and she says, is that your bike? And I just paused and I said, real quick, because if I'm thinking, I'm like, am I going to say something to her or not? Like, when it was, I said, all right, I just got to say it. So I said, I'm blind. What would I need with a bike? She
Right.
said, you know what? That's a good question. So I just said, okay. And then you're the transportation person. Like, you're coming to get me. You're
I
coming to get You're coming to get me. So why would I need a bike? If I had a bike, I wouldn't even need y'all. It's just little things like that,
It's
that.
little things and it's comical. The reason it's comical to me is that the poor woman didn't even realize probably what she asked you, right? And she said,
Right,
is that your bike? Now, why would you need a bike? And if you
right,
had a bike, like you said, why would you be calling them? And I think that that's where the title of your book just comes to life. I'm not blind, I have vision. Vision enough to know a blind woman would not have a bike. Would
right.
not.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in maybe Walmart or in the market or something, and I might have been tired. And I'm like, you know what? I wish I could grab one of those little scooter scooter things. But could you imagine me in the scooter knocking everything down? I don't
Yes.
know.
Well, I really hope and pray. My prayer for you is that your sight will return. I know you've had glimpses and things like that,
Hmm.
and you've definitely put into the atmosphere. But Mia, I saw on Facebook and on a lot on social media these cars that can drive themselves. And when I saw it, I got so excited because I was like, Mia gonna get a car. Mia gonna be able to get a car. And it was in Arizona. The car was able to turn, be able to see people. It was phenomenal. And so I just pray that your sight returns or you're able to purchase one of those vehicles where it'll drive the car for you. And that leads me into my next half of the show where I want to talk about how transportation has been for you since going from driving yourself
Mhm.
independently to having to rely a lot of times on other people or MTA mobility or whatever your mode of transportation would be. How has that been? Has it been a challenge? If you could tell us about it.
That's
You don't
definitely a
even know where
challenge.
to begin, right?
Listen, it's definitely a challenge because that's one of those things that I don't know if I'll ever be able to adapt to or adjust to. A lot of things come with being blind, and I think I've done a great job with the help of the Lord. Just adjusting and adapting and just walking this walk, right? But that transportation piece is just it's just one of those things because um I'm just a person. I have a schedule. I keep an agenda. I want to get to where I'm going. I want to get there in a timely fashion, and I don't want to be riding around all day. And I mean, that's just one of the things with mobility. Like, gosh, I, I
It,
often say, I often say to them, like, I'm riding around so long with y'all. When we getting paid? Like, when is payday? Let me get half of that
right,
check because
right.
I done been on here too long.
Right. But when on a serious note, there has been so many things happen to you. I know personally, just over the years of me knowing you, you've been
Hmm.
left
Oh yeah.
stranded by MTA Mobility.
Oh
They
yeah.
put you out the car in the middle of downtown, didn't
Girl.
assist you or
Oh my
help you.
gosh.
You've been
You
left
know,
places, stranded places, not picked up, arrived way too late. Like it's been hell with this MTA mobility.
it really has.
Go ahead.
I said it really has been. I was just agreeing.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's been hell. Let's just tell the truth about it. But that's my description of it. How would you describe it?
Hell.
Hell. Yeah.
um,
And would
but
you?
but no. But honestly, yeah, yeah, there are a lot of horrible stories. Everything you said is true because those are the stories I told you. Yes, but on the flip side of that, I have had some really great drivers. Um, Actually, one I just got to tell this story because it's about people. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
And the good in people.
yeah, the good. Yes, everybody ain't bad. So it was this one driver. One day, I was going to a gold ball tournament, and I just had enough. I really, honestly, just had enough money to get on the vehicle. Like I was giving her change. You get what I'm saying? So she heard me. I think I was praying, and she heard me praying, but I was actually saying the 23rd song. And after I said it, she was like, "Amen," and we started talking, and that kind of opened up a conversation. And I was started talking about, what was going on, and she dropped me off to where I was going to be, and she brought me up to the door and said, "I hope, you have a good day." Being very nice, and she came back. She called me. She came back. She said, "Oh, I forgot to give you something." And when she came back, she handed me $20.
Oh,
And I just broke down and started crying because honestly, I didn't have any money.
wow.
And that $20 helped me to be able to do what I needed to do just for that weekend, you know.
Yep.
So because the trip was already paid for and everything like that, I just didn't have, like a couple of dollars to meet the other team members of for what they needed.
Right.
So, and I always like to, have my part or whatever. But that's a good story. That is a positive story. That
Yes.
really helped me. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's been some good and I think it's been horrible in some cases. If
Mhm.
you had to talk, if somebody watches this, listens to this and they are affiliated with MTA Mobility, they have the ability to make some changes there, what would you say to them? What would make life easier for you? Or not even about easier, make it where as though you could navigate that system in a better way. What would you say?
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Um,
Quickly, we got 10 minutes.
well, I just would say they're so computerized. So I just the main thing I would say that go a long way is you never know where you might be. So just treat people how you want to be treated. You never know when you're going to be on the other side of a situation. So just treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Now, I also say if you're one of the people that want to be treated cruelly and you don't care how people treat you, then treat people better than that.
Yes. Yes. And if they could do something about the wait times, the pickup and wait times and the navigation time, you shouldn't have to ride with 50 people to get where you going in 2 hours. They could do, I think they could do a better job at that.
It's terrible. But yes, not we don't want to ride a long time. Make the rides make sense. Uh, Take people where they have to go in a timely fashion. And remember, you guys are at your job. People are using this system and this transportation service to get to where they need to be. Doctor's appointments, dialysis, work, whatever. People have lost their jobs because they couldn't get to work on time because this is their only mode of transportation.
Right.
So they have to think about that. You guys are sitting behind a desk, inputting data, make the rides make sense. These are you could be on the other end one day.
Yes. That would make your life much, much easier to adapt to, right? And get places on time or whatever. One of the other things that's in the book, now that we're wrapping up, one of the other things that you have in the book is you said something. You said when the teacher gives you a quiz, it is always the ones you got wrong you remember most. You put that in the book. You remember writing that?
Hmm.
And what did you mean by that?
Well, I was talking about uh, some the choices that we make, mistakes that you make in life. Sometimes I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm hard on myself when I make mistakes or when I do something wrong. I'm a perfectionist. I want to always do things right, but that's just not possible because you don't learn from mistakes. I mean, you don't learn from getting everything right. You learn by making mistakes. So don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake. Just learn the lesson. And that's why I said it's like a quiz. Your teacher give you a quiz. You the ones you get wrong, you be like, oh yeah, I remember that next time.
Right. Yes, I like that. I like when you said that, and the reason I asked that question is because it's so true. Though we focus so much on the things we got wrong, the mistakes that we had in life, and not enough on the blessings, on the things we should have, be grateful for, the things that we definitely have, because like you said, we don't learn from getting everything right. It's often those mistakes and the bumps along the way that we learn the most from.
Right.
So if you had to sum up everything that you learned in 3 words, you had to use 3 words to describe everything that you learned. Think about it while I'm talking, but 3 words to describe everything you've learned to this date, to this moment. What would those 3 words be?
Mm. That I've
And
learned.
why? Yep, that you've learned. So you have to sum up everything that you've learned since you lost your eyesight to this moment right here. What would those 3 words be and why? Why those 3 words?
Surrender, authority, and wisdom.
Surrender, authority, and wisdom.
Hmm.
Okay, why surrender?
Because when you surrender, you well, I release control. That's about control. So yeah, so that's I'll keep it simple like that. Releasing
Surrender,
control.
yes, because when you surrender, you release the control that we think we have over our
Hmm.
lives, right?
Hmm.
All right, and why authority?
Um, just because knowing that God is head of my life, He's my authority. Sometimes in life we look at people, you know, as having authority, and sometimes we even think we have authority over certain things. You get what I'm saying? So God, He's my authority. I look to Him.
Yes. And then lastly, it was um
Wisdom.
wisdom. Yes.
Um, wisdom has this it has helped me. Having knowledge and having understanding is great, but wisdom is more powerful to me, because that's knowing how to use that knowledge that you have, and just sometimes being wise can just keep you from a lot of things.
Yep. Where do you think you've gained that wisdom? Or how do you think you've gained that wisdom?
Through God, and just
All
listening.
right. So before I close us out with the rest of the excerpt from Ayala's book, how can they pick up the book? And why should they pick up the book?
Well, pick up the book because it's a lot of good information in there. You want to know a little bit about me? Pick it up. It's going to bless your whole life. Um, you can pick it up at Amazon.com, and you can get the PDF version off of my landing site, um, Blind Blind Creations Consulting.
Blind Creations Consultant. Okay, they can pick it up. And they can also pick it up on Amazon, you said?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else you do? You have the book. Are there any other services you offer to the public, the community, that they could benefit from?
Yes. Once you look on Blind Creations Consulting, but yes, there's a whole information page on there. But yes, motivational speaking, um, coaching, counseling, things like that.
All right.
Advocacy.
All right. So the book is just the beginning of all of the other things that you actually seek to do to help not only those that are visually impaired, but their family
Yes.
and the community, right?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're an expert on that topic, ma'am. And so I wish you all the best. And I wish for you top sales on your book, that it would go beyond your thought process and your thinking. And I believe everything you shared today has been just a measure of faith. And so Ayala says many things about faith, but she says that faith is the magnetic pull of the heart's desire, an inner knowing that brings spiritual and emotional assurance, the substance and foundation of that which one believes, right? It's that magnetic pull that
Yes.
brings you
Yes.
every desire of your heart. And I just love that she describes it that way. It reminded me of the three words you use: surrender, authority, and wisdom. I think
Mm,
it's all wrapped up in how she describes faith. And the only requirement, she says, for us to become a living example of faith is for us to continue to work on ourselves.
mm-hmm.
Work on expanding your knowledge of and the ability to embrace your truth. Work on your acknowledgement and acceptance of your true identity as the child of the divine. Work on eliminating every thought, idea, belief, and judgment that supports the belief that you are separate from God and unworthy of everything God has for you. As you begin to work on you and expand your awareness of spiritual law, your willingness to trust and the wisdom of the divine will become more of your overcoat, and the ever present grace of the divine will become your best friend. Meaning, when she says divine, she's talking about God. With
Mm-hmm.
trust, truth, and grace on your side, faith will be your claim to fame. And so I hope you an abundance of faith, because if you have an abundance of faith, you're going to have an abundance of everything else you need and want in your life, all the desires of your heart. So we are.
For you and trivia, I know where to find you guys, but I have a T-shirt and a mug for you guys. So be on the lookout for that.
We get a T-shirt like the one you have on, and we have a mug. Can you show the mug? Can you pull it up?
So,
All right, we're going to close the show with the mug. Trivia said, oh, thank you so much. We
yes,
appreciate you. Thanks for coming
get you
in.
some hot tea. Yes.
Yes, for some great hot tea in the morning. Thanks for coming in, Mia. I appreciate
so
you.
much.
Y'all go pick up that book. Bye. It's on Amazon. Go pick that book up, y'all. I am
Allow
not
us
blind.
at
I
Eddie
have
B
vision.
Productions to capture, create, and celebrate all of your greatest moments. Let us turn your joy into memories that will last forever. As we remember our beloved Eddie Blick Jr., the very reason we do it all, we aim to put a smile on your face and also your heart. Whether a birthday party, wedding planning, organizing an event, or photography, we can service all your needs. You can follow us on Instagram at Eddie B Productions, email us at eddieb_productions93@outlook.com, or call us at 410-303-0101 for all your event planning, decoration, fun, and photography needs. We look forward to working with you.